We've all heard that gods want the best for humans, but what if the gods themselves turn into humanity's greatest enemies? If that happens, where will humans turn for help? This story explores a scenario like that, where we see arrogance take over the gods, treating humans as mere playthings. Without further delay, let's dive into this story. The movie begins with a fisherman who discovers a chest floating in the sea. When he opens it, he finds the body of a dead woman and a baby. The man decides to take the baby and raise him as his own. The baby, named Perseus, grows up and begins to question his origins. He feels sad because he knows the people raising him aren't his real parents, and he worries that their love for him might fade when they have a child of their own. However, his foster father assures him that they will love him just as much, even after the birth of their child. The story then jumps 12 years ahead. Perseus has grown into a young man, and like his foster father, has become a fisherman. One day, while fishing, Perseus witnesses soldiers from the city of Argos pulling down a massive statue of the god Zeus and casting it into the sea. This act was a challenge to the gods, orchestrated by the king of Argos. The moment the statue sinks, the sea starts to churn, and terrifying winged creatures emerge, attacking and killing the soldiers. These creatures gather together, and it's revealed that they are sent by Hades, the god of the underworld. Hades attacks Perseus's boat, causing it to capsize. His entire foster family is on the boat, and despite his desperate efforts to save them, he fails. Alone, Perseus surfaces from the water, devastated. Meanwhile, in the heavens, Zeus grows furious at humanity's defiance. He created humans, loved them, and now they were betraying him. At this moment, Hades appears in Zeus's council and suggests that it's time to teach humans a lesson. He reminds Zeus that the god's immortality depends on the prayers of humans and proposes to punish humanity to make them pray to the gods again. Zeus reluctantly agrees and grants Hades permission to act. Back in Argos, soldiers retrieve Perseus from the sea and bring him before the king during a feast celebrating their defiance of the gods. At the feast, we meet the princess of Argos, who brings Perseus a drink. Soon after, Hades arrives, unleashing his powers to kill many soldiers. He curses the queen of Argos, stripping her of her beauty as punishment for disrespecting the gods. Perseus picks up a sword to fight Hades, but a mysterious woman stops him, saying it isn't the right time. Before leaving, Hades warns the people of Argos that in 10 days, during a solar eclipse, he will unleash his most fearsome monster, the Kraken, to destroy them. The only way to stop this fate, he declares, is to sacrifice the princess of Argos. As he departs, Hades reveals to Perseus that he is the son of Zeus. The revelation shocks Perseus, but before he can process it, a man named Draco attacks him, calling him a demigod. However, the king intervenes and stops Draco. He pleads with Perseus to help save Argos, but Perseus refuses, saying he is just a fisherman. Later, Perseus is thrown into a prison cell, where he meets a woman named Io. Cursed by a god to live forever, Io reveals more about Perseus's true identity as Zeus's son. She explains that Perseus is destined to play a key role in the battle against the gods. To teach Acrisius a lesson for his betrayal, Zeus disguises himself as Acrisius and spends the night with Acrisius's wife. However, Acrisius discovers this and confronts Zeus, who flies away. Soon after, Acrisius's wife gives birth to Zeus's child. Enraged, Acrisius throws his wife and the baby into a chest and prepares to cast it into the sea. But before he can, Zeus uses his powers to disfigure Acrisius's body. Despite this, Acrisius manages to throw the chest into the water. Inside that chest is Perseus, Zeus's son. In the present, Io explains to Perseus that they can find out how to kill the Kraken by consulting the Stygian witches. Perseus, some soldiers from Argos, and Io set out on this mission. Meanwhile, we see Acrisius alive, hidden in a secret location. Hades visits him, informing him that Zeus's son, Perseus, is alive and must be killed. Hades grants Acrisius some powers to help him accomplish this. On their journey, the group makes a stop, and Draco begins teaching Perseus sword fighting. Perseus quickly becomes proficient. Shortly afterward, Perseus discovers a glowing sword. Draco explains that the gods have sent this weapon for Perseus, but Perseus refuses to take it, giving it to Draco instead. As the group moves further, they encounter flying horses. Among them is a beautiful black Pegasus, which catches Perseus's attention. While Perseus and Io are talking, Acrisius attacks. He injures Perseus by biting his hand, but a soldier cuts off Acrisius's hand, which then transforms into a giant scorpion. The group pursues Acrisius, but wherever his blood falls, massive scorpions emerge from the ground and attack them. One of the scorpions almost kills Perseus, but Io saves him. However, another scorpion attacks her from behind. Meanwhile, Draco manages to kill one of the scorpions. Perseus and Io run from another scorpion, but Perseus eventually kills it. Just as they think they are safe, more scorpions appear in overwhelming numbers. At that moment, a group of jinn arrives. The jinn, who control this region, use their magic to subdue the scorpions. However, the poison from Acrisius's bite begins spreading through Perseus's body. That night, one of the jinn enters Perseus's tent and uses magic to try to heal him. Draco and the others mistakenly believe the jinn is trying to harm Perseus, leading to a confrontation. The tension is resolved when Perseus steps out, now fully healed. The next day, Draco urges Perseus to wield the divine sword gifted by the gods. Perseus once again refuses. Meanwhile, the jinn tame the scorpions and use them as transport for the group, helping them travel further toward their destination. After many days, they finally reach the Stygian witches' lair. These witches are 3 in number, sharing a single eye between them. Perseus asks them how the Kraken can be killed. The witches reveal that no weapon can destroy the Kraken, but they refuse to disclose more, instead launching an attack on the group. During the commotion, Perseus manages to snatch their shared eye. Holding it hostage, he demands the truth. Perseus threatens to destroy the witches' shared eye if they don't reveal a way to defeat the Kraken. Fearing this, they finally reveal that the Kraken can only be killed with the help of Medusa, as anyone who looks into her eyes is turned to stone. They tell Perseus that Medusa resides near the river in the underworld. After getting this information, Perseus returns their eye. As they leave, the witches warn Perseus that he is destined to die, as this prophecy has already been made. The scorpions that had accompanied them also leave, sensing Perseus's imminent death. Shortly after, Zeus appears to Perseus and warns him not to continue this journey, as it is fraught with danger. Zeus offers to take Perseus to Olympus and make him a king among the gods, but Perseus refuses, stating that he is just a mortal and wants to live as one. Before departing, Zeus gives Perseus a golden coin, telling him it will be useful later. As they continue their journey, 2 hunters in the group abandon them, leaving only Perseus, Io, and a few others. The jinn leader remains loyal and stays with them. After several more days, the group finally reaches the river in the underworld. The jinn takes the golden coin from Perseus and throws it into the river. A mysterious boat emerges from the water, which is destined to take them to Medusa's lair. On the journey, Io takes Perseus aside below deck and teaches him strategies to survive Medusa's attacks. During this time, they grow closer to each other. Soon, the group reaches Medusa's territory. After disembarking, they enter a dark cave where Medusa resides. As soon as they step inside, Medusa begins her attack. She shoots arrows, injuring Draco, and turns 2 soldiers into stone statues. Seeing his comrades die enrages Perseus, who distracts Medusa, leading her away to another part of the cave. Medusa chases him, determined to kill him. Just as she is about to attack Perseus, the jinn intervenes, using his magical powers to resist her petrifying gaze. Medusa tries to turn him into stone, but her powers have no effect on him. However, the jinn sacrifices himself by detonating his own powers, injuring Medusa. Meanwhile, Draco manages to drop a large rock onto Medusa's tail, causing her immense pain. However, Medusa turns Draco into stone before he can deliver a fatal blow. Furious at the loss of his comrades, Perseus finally decapitates Medusa with his sword. Her body falls into molten lava, turning to ash. Perseus takes Medusa's head and exits the cave, where Io is waiting for him. Before they can proceed, Acrisius ambushes them and stabs Io with his sword, killing her. Devastated by the loss of Io, Perseus engages in a fierce battle with Acrisius. Perseus's old sword breaks under Acrisius's powerful attacks. Realizing he has no choice, Perseus picks up the divine sword gifted to him by Zeus. With this weapon, Perseus overpowers Acrisius, finally impaling him. As Acrisius dies, his curse is lifted, and he reverts to his human form. Before taking his last breath, Acrisius tells Perseus not to become like the other gods before he dies. Perseus then rushes to Io, who is gravely injured. With her dying breath, Io tells him to leave quickly because the solar eclipse is about to begin. As she dies, she disappears. Soon after, Zeus sends Pegasus, the winged horse, to help Perseus reach Argos quickly. Meanwhile, Hades seeks Zeus's permission to unleash the Kraken. Zeus, unaware of Hades' betrayal, grants his request. Hades then releases the Kraken, which begins wreaking havoc in Argos. The people of Argos, in an attempt to save themselves, bring Princess Andromeda to the sacrificial altar and tie her up to offer her as a sacrifice to the Kraken. As the Kraken emerges and begins its rampage, Zeus realizes Hades has betrayed him. Hades reveals that he resents Zeus for giving him dominion over the underworld while keeping Olympus for himself. Now, Hades plans to take control of the entire world. Perseus arrives in Argos, but Hades sends his flying creatures to attack him and steal Medusa's head. Perseus chases them to retrieve it. At the same time, the hunters who left earlier return with their scorpions to aid Perseus. The Kraken, fully emerged from the ocean, appears as a terrifying and massive creature. Perseus manages to recover Medusa's head from the flying creatures and rushes to confront the Kraken. As the Kraken prepares to attack Andromeda, Perseus uses Medusa's head to turn the Kraken to stone. The creature looks into Medusa's eyes and begins to petrify. Within moments, the Kraken is completely turned to stone and crumbles into pieces, falling into the ocean. Andromeda, still tied up, falls into the sea as well. Hades appears and confronts Perseus. However, Perseus uses his divine sword to banish Hades back to the underworld. With the immediate danger over, Perseus dives into the ocean to rescue Andromeda. They are later seen unconscious on the shore, but regain consciousness shortly after. Andromeda offers Perseus the throne of Argos, suggesting he become its king. Perseus declines, saying she would make a better ruler as queen. He then departs to live as a mortal. Perseus returns to the statue of Zeus, where his father appears to him. Perseus tells Zeus that Hades is not dead, but has been banished back to the underworld. Zeus replies that Hades feeds on the weaknesses of humans, but as long as Perseus remains among them, he will be their strength. Before leaving, Zeus resurrects Io as a gift to Perseus. The movie ends with Perseus and Io reunited, marking the conclusion of the story. For more movie explanations like this, make sure to subscribe to Film Reveal Decoder and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. If you have a favorite movie you'd like us to explain next, type "next" in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.